Hello, peaceful revolutionaries. This is Sylvain Rochon speaking with another week of some time and another video. This week, I didn't want to talk about technology. I more felt talking about philosophy, and I've been reviewing some old videos from John Lennon, Maitreya Rael, and some of the people that I think are great mentors for humanity. John Lennon, of course, is long deceased, but his message resonates. Maitreya Rael is still kicking and doing really great things, and is one of my closest mentors and my philosophical leader as well. Like, as most of you know, I'm a Raelian, and he started this movement. So following him closely, of course. And I thought I would share some ideas with you, some thoughts that could essentially change the world, because that's really what we're trying to do. Again, peaceful revolutionaries are there to change the world. Revolution means change. It's rotating, changing things, right? I've always told you that change always comes from within, comes from basically little things, and to change how we think and how we see the world. That's really all it is. It's not very difficult, a concept to understand. What's difficult is actually doing it, because you're going against the mainstream media. You're going against mainstream ideas. You're going against great organizations like companies that try to sell things, governments that try to sell you bullshit, or ideas that are not worthwhile versus things that are. And that's a strong impulse. That's of opinion that goes against human nature most times, not always, but most of the time. You have to kind of follow your gut, and following your gut usually means that you're going to be an outcast. You're going to be against the general population's opinion, because the general population follows whatever the media sells. So it's not easy, even though it should be, and it is simple. So I'm going to just give you a few lines from these couple of mentors I mentioned, and hopefully you'll be able to pick up on that and reintroduce these concepts into your daily life, and keep doing what you're doing, being a peaceful revolutionary, being an independent thinker, and you can influence others through your own actions if you don't fall into the trap of the mainstream media, if you fall into what's right and what's good. And if each individual does that, the more individuals that do that, the more influence we have over other people, and we become the mainstream media as individuals that want good things for each other. I hope that makes sense. Now, I just wanted to start just by a few quotes. I have this on my other monitor here because, memory, bad. So I'm reading things. I want to be exact as well. This is from John Lennon. I didn't really note down what year, but it was some of his famous speeches, and I did add a link to his video, and also a link down below, so inside the video and also in the description. What he says, that I think our society is run by insane people for insane objectives, speaking about governments and all this stuff. But I'm liable to be put away as insane for expressing that. That's what's insane. And I think that encompasses really what we're doing here as peaceful revolutionaries. It's like we think things are crazy for insane objectives. It makes no sense whatsoever. And they tell us, yeah, we know better than you. Bullshit, right? And we are kind of risking. I mean, it's in the Western world, it's not so bad. In Northern Europe or Western Europe, not so bad. But yeah, we can be scorned or even put in jail, liable to be punished in different ways for thinking right. And that's crazy, just like what Lennon says. I mean, it's crazy shit, right? So make sure you keep that in mind. Here's something else that he mentioned, and I think that's brilliant, about how to change the world specifically. He says it's because he started like a peace movement, or participated in the peace movement back in the day, and he was doing a lot of promotions using his songs and advertisements, stuff like that. Just a little bit of context to what's coming up here. He says we're selling it like soap, meaning peace, and you got to sell it until the household wife thinks where there is peace or war, then peace. So we're giving him a choice, like peace or war, put in their minds. I try to get people orientated like think peace, eat for peace, drink for peace, dance for peace, make love for peace. Just have peace like a mantra in your head. So of course he's speaking a little bit disjointed, so that's why it's a little bit weird. But what he's really saying is like, well, if you get people to think about peace as just like selling a product, where you kind of keep it in people's head like an advertisement. It's always in your head. You think about, I'm thirsty, I'm gonna have a beer, I'm gonna have a Molson, I'm gonna have a Coca-Cola. Then if you have peace on the menu, then people will have choices. They'll feel like, okay, well, which one do I have? Like, I know about peace because it's been advertised. I know about war, it's been advertised. I know about these other things, it's been advertised. Which one will I choose? If people aren't aware of the choice, they'll choose among things that they know are choices. If peace is not there, they don't choose it. They think that the only choices are the other things. And we do a lot of demonstration, me and some of my friends over here, the Raelians, especially here in Ottawa and around the world, against the military actions or military as a whole, military budgets and things like that. And we tell people about it. I'm using this as an example on the street. Let's have a look. I mean, why do you pay taxes towards military? They're essentially just serving commercial gain. It's not really serving the people itself. I mean, the idea of going to the Middle East to protect people that are in America, for example, is nuts. That's something that's been fed into our mind, to the media, for people to believe. But think about it logically. Like, how does it serve the American people to kill people in Iraq or Afghanistan? And like, think for yourself. Don't regurgitate what the media says. Just think it for yourself. What does it give you? Like, if the Afghani would come here and cause trouble, then you'd have police and military here, right, doing stuff to protect us. What we're doing is preemptive strikes on enemy soil or foreign soil, and that's to protect us here. Like, just to flip it around, it's like, if we're doing this, what about other countries that have had some attacks or some nasty things happen to them by a precious few American people? Let's say there's a minority of American people that go, I don't know, to Iran. Let's just choose a country. It doesn't matter. Okay, let's say Iran. They go into Iran. They blow up a couple of thousand people. The Irani say, well, this is terrorism. The source is in America. So the most logical things to protect Iran would be to take our military and go fight in America and to find the Americans, right? But that's exactly what the Americans are doing. Some of us, not even the Canadians and the English, and we're going to Afghanistan and these other countries to try to get those terrorists, and sometimes without the authorization of the central government over there. So would we accept Iran to come here, with their military to try to take out the few American terrorists? No, not. It's one-sided. It's not that. It doesn't make sense. You don't do that. If you want to protect the people, you protect the people within the country, and you do intelligent foreign policies so that not to attract these kind of attacks in the first place. Anyway, so yeah, put peace on the menu. Make the people think that yes, there's war, like these attacks, these things. That is an option. Yeah, sure, you can do that. It's nuts, but you can do that. But how about peace? How about taking the peaceful way? How about thinking like Buddha? How about thinking like Jesus? How about turning the other cheek and these kind of ideologies? Put that on the menu, advertise that, and then people will say, well, it's like if I have a choice between crazy shit going to war over there to do some, like probably for oil and stuff, and just kind of staying here and negotiating diplomatically and organizing things with the country and try to smooth things over with our foreign policy. Well, if you have that as an option, well, let's do that instead, because that won't kill our sons and daughters into the war. It won't kill a bunch of children that's as collateral of these wars. And we're going to develop good relations with the country. We're probably going to avoid just as much, or even a lot more. We're going to avoid further instances because we're not aggravating things by killing people over there and getting more terrorists riled up against us. Right? All right. Now, this is John Lennon. So great ideas. Really unfortunate he got shot. Of course, he got shot for his ideas. As, some people didn't quite like what he was saying, what he was promoting. He had a powerful voice, being a Beatle, right? Now here's Maitreya Rael. What he talks about things are from a different angle. He does talk a lot about peace, but gives us tools to be a peaceful revolutionary in some sense, and to change the world through the change of self. Now this is some things that he mentioned in the video that I posted down below there. Okay, if you have to choose between being right and being kind, choose to be kind. You will always be right. If you are right, sometimes you're not kind. And if you're not kind, you are not right. Pretty cool. So in essence, just be kind. Think about peace. Think about giving. Think about love. And you'll be right. And then good things will happen. That's very simple. And that's something every individual can do. You don't need a university diploma. You just need to do it. Just be kind to one another. That's it. And peace on earth, slowly. Because it's contagious. Just like John Lennon says, it's like selling soap. If you sell that idea, if you tell people, if you are this message of kindness and love and peace, other people see it on the menu all of a sudden. It's like, wow, I can do that. I can be like this person. And then other people, it affects other people. And then decisions are completely different. Then people that watch the news that are infected by this sickness of kindness and peace, they watch the news and they say, wait a minute, I have a choice between being kind and peaceful and all these nice things, or follow whatever the media is saying about going to war. It's like, these are my choices. Like, shit, I know what to do. I'm going to go and be a conscientious objector, for example. I'm going to be demonstrating at a peace rally. I'm going to contribute part of my huge salary because I have a lot of money to help people in need. I'm going to make that choice and be kind instead of just joining the bandwagon. And then because the media is controlled by money, if sufficient people choose the menu of peace and kindness, the media is going to start advertise that message. It's a money-making machine. It wants listeners and watchers. So if you transform yourself into a machine of kindness, and there's enough people that do that, the media will advertise that. And that's powerful because a lot of sheeps are out there just listening to the media. We need to transform ourselves. That's going to transform the machine because we have the power. Just like changing the government. I've mentioned that many times. We complain about the government, but we are the government. John Lennon says it as well. I believe in the very video I've posted a link on. We are the government. We vote people in place. We take decisions. We consume the media. We can be the change that changes the media, that changes the government from upside down. Not by changing a politician, but changing the whole system to something that makes sense. That's not insane, as he says. So Maitreya says, if all humanity was kind, there would be no war nor starvation. Right? That summarizes what I just said. Very, very simple. So I would encourage you guys, each one of you, watch these videos. Go to raelacademy.org. I put down the link. There's a lot more Maitreya Rael videos about similar topics in there. You can explore that, watch that. John Lennon is easier to find on the web. Search him, listen to some of his stuff, even though like his message is outdated because I mean it was the Vietnam War era at that time, so it's more about war versus peace, but it's still very much applicable here today. Explore that and change yourself into a machine of kindness and peace and harmony, and that will change everything else. You don't need to fight the government. You don't need to fight the big organizations. You only need to fight yourself and infect other individuals around you. That's all. But it's hard because you got to ignore the media. You got to ignore the big messages that are all constantly trying to bring you back into the masses, into normality, into what they want, what the people that are in power want you to think, so that they can do whatever they want and gain more power and money. Ignore that. Do what you feel as a human being is right for yourself and others. Be smart, and we'll change the world together through you. That's it for today, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you again next week for another one. Ciao for now. Enjoy.